Hi, so I'm here from Livingtheumbrella, and this is the first time that I've actually put a video or any audio or anything together for this blog actually. We've had a particularly stressful experience this afternoon, which I thought actually I have written a bit about, but it's hard to put it into written word. I think sometimes it's easy to read something and not quite fully understand or appreciate the impact it has on people. So I put together a couple of nice calming pictures, which I'm hoping you can see, and I certainly need to see at the moment. So these are from PowerPoint ClipArt search, so I haven't paid for these. They're available free. I wish I could use the ones from the Amazon video account. If you ever need calming pictures, I recommend Amazon Prime. And don't watch anything, just leave it on, and it's like a screensaver of the most beautiful places in the world. Literally, you can sit there and just stare at them and wish you could go away to them and relax. Anyway, back to today. So it started yesterday, I suppose. We've got an old van, which is our only mode of transport. For those of you who've read the blog so far, you'll know that there's 5 of us here, 2 adults, 3 children, obviously. Or perhaps not, obviously. So there's myself. I'm the main carer in the household. My husband has mental health difficulties, and my 3 children are all diagnosed with autism. We've got 2 diagnosed with pathological demand avoidance, and 1 diagnosed with high functioning autism, which is better known as Asperger's, except they've taken that wording out of the manuals now for diagnosis. But essentially high IQ with autism. That makes life very interesting, and today has been no exception. So today was a quite quiet day. We had a busy day yesterday. We had a day out at the farm, which is a weekly visit for my eldest daughter. She goes there because she can communicate with the animals. She has selective mutism, and she finds the animals very calming, and she talks away happily to them, which is brilliant and helps with her bonding, her social skills, her communication and her confidence. So she had that yesterday, but we always try to plan something nice and calm and quiet after any outing, but especially after a Tuesday visit. So today was going to be quite quiet, but on the way home yesterday our van decided to die a death again. It's an ongoing saga. I could have a separate blog all about the van, but I think it would be taken the wrong way. So yeah, it's an old van. I would love to change it for a car. However, for the time being, we have the van. We had this exact same problem last year. So some kind of pipe that attaches to the clutch or something leaks some kind of fluid, and then it stops the clutch working. The van starts to rev all by itself, and it just continues to do so, getting louder and louder until we turn it off. I dread to think what would happen if we didn't turn it off. It sounds as if something would go pop or bang, or perhaps worse. But thankfully we've not got to that point. So that's scary in itself as an adult, but you can imagine with the children in the van how scary that is. So yesterday it happened to us several times, where we had to turn the van off at places where it wasn't planned, and perhaps not the safest either, but we didn't have any option. So we managed to get the van back to the house anyway, and then the plan was to have a look at it and see if we could fix it, but it's not fixable. Can't get under there. Not mechanics, so that's the end of that, isn't it? So today we decided to try and use our breakdown cover to get the van fixed. Talking about this van an awful lot, it causes me great stress, and I wish if we won the lottery, the first thing I would do would be to buy a car that didn't break down repeatedly and was reliable. But we all live to dream, right? So back to today. The RAC were called. Luckily we've got breakdown cover, we need it. So the van was going to be towed. We had a 3-hour window during which they're going to turn up. Great. Turned up 12:30. Just at the time when we needed to be getting ready to go out to my son's counselling appointment. Counselling has been an absolute disaster. I don't know why anybody gives counselling sessions one-to-one with a strange person in a strange room, in a different room each time sometimes, to a child with autism. I can't understand where their sense is. It just beggars belief. You're expecting a child who has difficulty with social understanding, emotions and communication to sit in a room with a stranger who they don't know, in a room where they're not comfortable, they're not familiar with it, in a building that they perhaps never been to before. It's not the same temperature as their house, they haven't got their familiar things around them. You're telling their parents to wait outside, so they're on their own in this room with someone they don't know, perhaps don't like, but I don't think that's the issue in our case. And they're just expected to spontaneously talk about things that are concerning them, worrying them, or that have been just going on in the last week or two since they last saw this person. The number of times I've been called in to be told that my son is not engaging in the sessions is just beyond. I've given up now trying to explain autism and pathological demand avoidance. I have explained to this person that the fact that he's there is a triumph. The fact that I managed to get him through the gate on a number of occasions into the even into the grounds of the building has just been such an achievement for him. But that's lost because of course he won't go in the room, or he will go in and then he's given autonomy in there, so he decides to use that to leave, obviously. So I've come to the conclusion that it is just a waste of time and we are literally just finishing the sessions, but due to illness on their part and various other things, I can't remember why, but we haven't had this last session. It's supposed to have been like 3 weeks ago. It's dragging on, and it was meant to be today at 1 o'clock. The only thing we had to do today. And then, like I say, the RAC van turns up at 12:30. So that took my husband out of the equation, leaving me with the 3 children, trying to get the 3 of them out of the house with no transport to go down to this counselling session with no warning, no planning, on a day when we need time in to recharge is a non-starter. But I had to try. So my eldest didn't want to go, ongoing story, and I managed to convince him, because downstairs I had my youngest, who's also got PDA, pathological demand avoidance, and autism, and she's in her pyjamas and completely busy, just beside herself, didn't want to leave the house, didn't want to get dressed, didn't want to do anything towards leaving at all, couldn't understand why we had to go. There was no bribery, nothing was going to convince her at all, absolutely no chance. So I managed to convince my eldest anyway that it was worth a go, so he was my helper. My eldest daughter then was quite willing, and not happy but willing, to go out and come down to the session with us. But the panic attack that ensued from my youngest was just, there's no point. So we had screaming, we had shouting, we had wailing, we had crawling under the table, excuses why she couldn't go. So she needed the toilet, she didn't have her clothes, she didn't want to walk, it's too cold, she didn't want to go out, she couldn't go out, you name it, we had it. Then she climbed under the chairs, and I picked her up and she's in a ball. I couldn't get her changed myself because she was curled up so much and so tight and so upset. I just thought, you know what, why am I doing it? So decided to cancel the session with probably less than half an hour warning in the end. But it happens, right? Things happen, don't they? But the attitude I got from the woman on the other end of the phone, who I don't know, doesn't know me, anything could have happened here. She has absolutely no insight, no clue, no idea. The only thing she knows is that I've got a child who's in counselling, so at that point you'd think that some kind of empathy would be shown by her. But I've given up expecting anything like that lately. I got the, I see, as soon as I said the reason that we couldn't go. I didn't even go into autism and PDA. I just literally said that I couldn't get my youngest out of the house. And I don't know what picture goes through people's heads at that point, and I don't particularly care. I just expect a bit of help. I mean, in my opinion, if you are receiving a call from someone who has someone crying on their lap, I mean, she could hear her, then you know there's something going on, and you just take the message and pass it on. It's a no-brainer, surely. So anyway, I left this message. The appointment was supposed to be at 1 o'clock, and what are we now? 20 to 2. So I mean, this counsellor's been free since 1 because she's meant to be with my son. So I thought we might have a phone call to try and arrange something or to discuss things, but there's been nothing. She must have had the message, otherwise she'd have been phoning me to see where we are. So she knows why we're not coming. She's just not phoning us for some reason, which is fine. Yeah, so I phoned the office where she's based and nobody answered there either, so I've left a full message explaining the exact reasons why we can't go. The van took half an hour to put onto the back of the truck that took it down to the garage. So come 1 o'clock, I've got a youngest child in full-blown panic attack, confused older siblings, one kind of happy that we're not going but concerned at the same time and having to deal with the fallout from my youngest. My husband just standing by the door telling me that they're still putting the van on the back of the truck. Then we have a delivery from a shop as well. Just everything always happens together. So yeah, I thought I'd just share a bit of it, just so you can hear the way that I'm speaking as well, I suppose, because I tend to write how I speak, so perhaps it'll make the other entries or future entries make more sense for you. I hope I haven't rambled on too much, but I just want to give you a little bit of an insight really into what it's like living here with 2 children with PDA and 1 with high functioning autism, because I could write several posts every day of just the little things that happen, but you just wouldn't believe it. Nobody ever does believe it, I think, unless you are in a household where you've got children on the spectrum. Then you just can't understand, possibly you just cannot fathom the ways in which it affects your daily life and the ways that it changes things for your children. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Thank you for listening.